woke up from a car accident with 3 years of my memory gone. The first thing I saw while lying in the hospital bed was a cute little boy sleeping by the bedside. The little guy had long eyelashes and slightly pouting lips, looking no more than 3 years old. Just as I was wondering who this child was, he suddenly opened his eyes. The moment our eyes met, the little boy's eyes turned red, and he called out in a childish voice, "Mommy." "Mommy?" I almost jumped out of bed. This kid is calling me mommy? I'm only 25 years old this year. How could I have such a big child? "Mommy, you're finally awake." The little boy climbed onto the bed and carefully hugged my arm. "Chio missed you so much. Please don't sleep anymore, okay?" Chio? Is that his name? I opened my mouth, wanting to say something, but found that I didn't know what to say at all. This amnesia thing is more terrifying than I imagined. I remember my name as Lin Chuxia. I'm 25 years old this year, and I work as a designer at an advertising company. I remember yesterday, no, it should be 3 years ago, I had just successfully confessed my feelings to a handsome colleague in the company. After that, I don't remember anything. "Chio," I tentatively called out. The little boy immediately looked up, his eyes shining brightly at me. "Mommy, you called me." Seeing how happy he was, a surge of unspeakable bitterness welled up in my heart. No matter what, this child obviously loves his mommy very much. I reached out and touched his little head. "Chio, mommy. Mommy might be sick and can't remember some things. Can you tell mommy, who else is in our family?" Chio tilted his little head and thought for a moment. "There's also Daddy. Daddy is very busy, he needs to earn money to buy Chio toys." "Daddy? So I'm married? Who did I marry?" My mind was in chaos, and I couldn't remember anything at all. At this moment, the door of the ward was pushed open. A doctor in a white coat walked in, followed by a man in a well-tailored suit. The man was about 30 years old, with deep and defined features, and a calm and restrained demeanor. He looked like a successful person at first glance. When he saw that I was awake, a look of relief flashed in his eyes. "Chuxia, you're awake." His voice was very pleasant, low and magnetic, but I was sure I had never heard this voice before. "You are?" I asked cautiously. The man's face froze instantly, and the doctor explained from the side, "Ms. Lin, this is your husband, Mr. Gu Yuqing. You suffered brain damage due to a car accident, and you have temporarily lost your memory of the past 3 years." "Husband?" I looked at the unfamiliar and handsome man in front of me, and my brain completely crashed. When did I get married? When did I have a child? Why don't I have any memory of it? "Mommy, this is Daddy," Chio introduced in a childish voice from the side. "Daddy loves Mommy very much, and he comes to see you every day." Gu Yuqing walked to the bedside, looking at me with complicated eyes. "Chuxia, do you really not remember anything?" I shook my head. I only remember what happened 3 years ago. I was working at Hengmei Advertising Company at the time, and had just started a relationship with my colleague Su Jingshan. Hearing the name Su Jingshan, Gu Yuqing's face visibly darkened. Chio keenly sensed that the atmosphere was not right, and grabbed my sleeve tightly with his small hand. "Daddy is unhappy," he whispered in my ear. Looking at Gu Yuqing's gloomy expression, I had a bad feeling in my heart. Su Jingshan. Could he be related to my current situation? The doctor coughed. "Mr. Gu, the patient needs to rest. Memory recovery takes time, don't put too much pressure on her." Gu Yuqing gave me a deep look, and nodded, "I understand." He turned to leave, and Chio hurriedly called out to him, "Daddy, where are you going?" "Daddy is going to buy porridge for Mommy." Gu Yuqing stroked Chio's little head. "You stay with Mommy." After he left, I asked Chio, "How do Daddy and Mommy usually get along?" Chio thought for a moment, and said seriously, "Daddy loves Mommy very much, but Mommy doesn't love Daddy very much." "What? Why do you say that?" "Because Mommy never smiles, and doesn't talk to Daddy. Every time Daddy comes home, Mommy hides in the room. Chocho blinked his big eyes, but Mommy is very good to Chocho. My heart skipped a beat. It sounds like my marriage to Gu Yuqing is not happy. Then why did I marry him? Also, what about Su Jingshan? What exactly happened between us? Just as I was thinking, the door was pushed open again. This time, a woman walked in, about 27 or 8 years old, very beautiful, but with a somewhat complex expression on her face. Chu Xia, you're awake. Her voice trembled slightly, and there seemed to be tears in her eyes. You are? I asked the question again. I'm Su Wanwan, your good friend. She walked over and sat down by the bed, also. Chio's godmother. The name Su Wanwan sounds familiar. 3 years ago, we were indeed very good friends. Wanwan, can you tell me what happened in these 3 years? Why did I marry Gu Yuqing? What about Su Jingshan? Hearing these questions, Su Wanwan's expression became even more complicated. She looked at Chocho, then at me, hesitating to speak. These things are very complicated. Are you sure you want to hear them now? I nodded. I must know the truth. Su Wanwan took a deep breath and began to tell the story of what had happened in the past 3 years. It turned out that after Su Jingshan and I confirmed our relationship 3 years ago, we dated for about half a year. Everything was going smoothly, and we were even discussing getting married. But then, I became pregnant unexpectedly. When I told Su Jingshan the news with anticipation, his reaction was beyond my expectations. Not only was he not happy, but he also asked me to have an abortion. The reason is that we are all still young, and our careers are just starting, so it is not suitable to have children. I disagreed, and the two of us had a heated argument. The result of the argument was that Su Jingshan proposed breaking up. He said that if I insisted on giving birth to this child, then we would have no future. I was heartbroken at the time and hid at home crying for 3 days and 3 nights. Just when I was most desperate, Gu Yuqing appeared. Gu Yuqing? How could he appear? I asked in confusion. Su Wanwan sighed. He was your high school classmate and has always had a crush on you. What? I tried hard to recall my high school memories. Gu Yuqing. Gu Yuqing. I have a little impression, but it's very vague. It seems that there was such a classmate who was very good at studying, but had an introverted personality and wasn't very noticeable. How did he know about my situation? I told him. Su Wanwan lowered her head. At that time, I really couldn't bear to see you in so much pain, so I thought of him. I know he has always liked you, and now he is successful and a good man. I was stunned. So, Su Wanwan called Gu Yuqing? And then? Then Gu Yuqing came to you. He said that he was willing to marry you and be the child's father. He said he loved you and didn't care whose child it was. Su Wanwan's voice became smaller and smaller. At that time, you were angry and your emotions were unstable because of the pregnancy, so you agreed. I was silent for a long time. So that's how it was. So I chose Gu Yuqing when I was most vulnerable. And Chocho is my child with Su Jingshan. No wonder Gu Yuqing's face looked so ugly when Su Jingshan was mentioned just now. What about Su Jingshan? What happened to him later? Su Wanwan hesitated for a moment. He regretted it later. He came to you the day before your wedding. What did he say? He said he had thought it through, was willing to raise the child with you, and begged you not to marry someone else. My heart skipped a beat. What? What did I answer? You were trying on your wedding dress at the time, and he suddenly appeared and startled you. You said that since he could cruelly abandon you and your child once, he could abandon you a second time. You didn't trust him. Su Wanwan looked at me. Chuxia, I want to tell you something. You haven't been very happy since you married Gu Yuqing. You often space out, often have insomnia. Gu Yuqing is very good to you and very good to Chocho, but you seem to have never forgotten Su Jingshan. This news hit me like a heavy hammer. So, I haven't been happy for the past 3 years. The person I love is not my current husband, but my current husband loves me deeply. Chucho is Su Jingshin's child, but Gu Yucheng loves him like his own son. What a complicated and entangled relationship this is. Mom, why are you crying? Chucho's little hand gently wiped my tears. Does something hurt? I hugged this cute little angel, and a wave of heartache surged in my heart. In any case, Chucho is innocent. What he needs is a complete home, a mother who loves him, instead of a woman living in the shadows of the past. Mommy's okay, just too happy. I kissed Chucho's little face, because Chucho is so adorable. Chucho smiled happily, nuzzling in my arms. Su Wanwan looked at the scene with a relieved expression. Chuxia, maybe amnesia isn't a bad thing for you. You can start over, without being bound by the past. Start over? I looked at Chucho in my arms, and remembered Gu Yucheng's complicated gaze just now. Maybe, this really is a chance to start over. I was discharged from the hospital after staying for 3 days. When Gu Yucheng came to pick us up, he was driving a black Mercedes-Benz, which looked low-key but was expensive. Chucho sat excitedly in the child safety seat, chattering and talking to me all the way. Mommy, our house is very big, with a garden and a swing. Mommy, there's also a cat at home named Xiao Bai, it's very well behaved. Mommy, there are lots of toys in my room, I'll show them all to you when we get home. Listening to Chucho's happy voice, my mood gradually relaxed. Gu Yucheng concentrated on driving, occasionally looking at us in the rearview mirror, with an unspeakable tenderness in his eyes. Soon, the car stopped in front of a high-end residential area. The houses here are all detached villas, with a beautiful environment and strict security. Our home is a 2-story European-style building with a garden of moderate size outside. Chucho was right, there was indeed a swing in the garden, and a small sandbox. Is this really my home? I couldn't believe it. 3 years ago, I was still living in a shared apartment, and my salary was barely enough to cover living expenses. Now I live in such a mansion. Gu Yucheng carried my luggage and said lightly, yes, we moved here after we got married. Opening the door, a snow-white ragdoll cat lazily walked over. Xiao Bai. Chucho excitedly rushed over to hug the cat, Mommy's back. Xiao Bai meowed and rubbed Chucho's little hand with its head. The decoration of the house is very cozy, and you can see the taste of the hostess everywhere. My favorite green plants are placed in the living room, and my favorite herbal tea is on the table in the dining room. There's even my drawing board and paints in the study. You remember what I like. I looked at Gu Yucheng with some emotion. His expression was momentarily unnatural. You arranged all of this yourself. Oh, it was me before the amnesia who arranged it. That also shows that even if I don't love him, I at least live comfortably here. Mommy, I'll take you to see my room. Chucho took my hand and ran upstairs. Chucho's room is on the 2nd floor, more than 40 square meters, decorated like a little prince's castle. All kinds of toys are placed in different categories, and there are many picture books and storybooks on the bookshelf. On the wall are drawings and a photo of our family of 3. I pick up a photo and look at it closely. In the photo, I am smiling happily, holding a younger, and Gu Yucheng is standing beside us, his eyes full of affection. It seems that, at least in front of, we are a happy family. Mom, this is the robot you bought me. Picks up a transformer, it can talk and walk, it's super cool. This is the castle we built together. He points to a Lego creation, it took us 3 days to build. Looking at S' excited expression, a warm current surges through my heart. Although I have lost my memory, it is clear that I loved this child very much before the amnesia. Mom, are you hungry? I'll get you some cookies. Cares for me like a little adult. No need, baby, Mom's not hungry. I pat his little head. Is tired? Do you want to take a nap? No, I want to stay with Mom. Shakes his head. I'm afraid Mom will disappear again. My heart tightens. It seems that my hospitalization these past few days has frightened the child. Mom won't disappear again, Mom will always be with. I assure him seriously. Nods, then burrows into my arms, nuzzling me like a kitten. At this moment, Gu Yucheng knocks on the door and enters. It's getting late, it's time for to have lunch. He looks at his watch, the nanny has already prepared it. Nanny? It then dawns on me that such a big house really needs someone to take care of it. After going downstairs, I meet the nanny, Aunt Zhang, a middle-aged woman in her 40s, who looks very kind. Madam, are you feeling better? Aunt Zhang asks with concern. Much better, thank you, Aunt Zhang. That's great. The young master hasn't been eating well these past few days, he's been missing his mom. Lunch is plentiful, with all my favorite dishes. Sits in a high chair, feeding himself with a small spoon, occasionally needing my help. Gu Yucheng sits across from us, eating silently, occasionally looking at us. The atmosphere is a bit quiet, but not awkward. After lunch, Gu Yucheng says he needs to go back to the company to take care of some things. You get some rest, ask Aunt Zhang if you need anything. He says to me, I'll be back tonight. After he leaves, I take to play in the garden. Especially love swinging on the swing, I push him, and he giggles happily. Mom, did you used to push me on the swing often too? I pause for a moment and answer honestly, Mom doesn't remember, but Mom will push on the swing often in the future. Nods, Mom has changed. How has Mom changed? The old Mom was always unhappy, but the new Mom smiles. My heart aches. It seems that before the amnesia, I really wasn't happy. So does like the new Mom? Yes. Nods vigorously, likes Mom the most. In the evening, Gu Yucheng came back quite late. Qiu and I had already eaten dinner and were watching cartoons in the living room. Dad's back. Qiu excitedly ran over and hugged Gu Yucheng's leg. Gu Yucheng patted Qiu's head, then looked at me, how was today? Did you feel unwell? It's okay, just a little unaccustomed, I answered honestly. Take your time, no rush. His voice was gentle. Tell me if you remember anything. Dad, will you watch cartoons with us? Qiu pulled on Gu Yucheng's hand. Gu Yucheng looked at me and, seeing that I didn't object, sat down on the sofa. The three of us sat together watching Peppa Pig, with Qiu in the middle and Gu Yucheng and I on either side. The cartoon was childish, but Qiu watched it intently, occasionally letting out happy laughter. I secretly observed Gu Yucheng and noticed that while he was watching TV, his attention was actually on me. Whenever I made any movement, he would subconsciously look over. This man really loves me. Thinking of what Su Wanwan said, my mood was complicated. He had a crush on me for so many years, and finally managed to marry me, only to get a wife who was absent-minded. Now that I have amnesia, is it a good thing or a bad thing for him? At least, I won't neglect him anymore because I miss Su Jingshan. Mom, Peppa is so cute, Qiu said, pointing at the TV screen. Yes, very cute, I responded with a smile. Are we going to raise a pig at home too? Pigs are too big, we already have Xiao Bai. Then how about raising a little rabbit? We can consider it. Gu Yucheng listened to our conversation, a hint of warmth flashing in his eyes. At 9 o'clock, Qiu started yawning. It's time for Qiu to sleep, I stood up, Mom will give you a bath. Okay, Qiu obediently followed me upstairs. While giving Qiu a bath, I noticed a small scar on his arm. What's this? I asked with concern. I fell down before, Qiu said nonchalantly. Dad took me to the hospital, and the doctor uncle said it would get better slowly. Does it hurt? No, Qiu is a brave little man. After the bath, I told Qiu a bedtime story. Qiu lay in his little bed, listening attentively, his eyes gradually closing. Mom, will you still be home tomorrow? He asked groggily. Yes, Mom won't go anywhere tomorrow. What about the day after tomorrow? The day after tomorrow too. What about the day after tomorrow? I laughed. Silly baby, Mom will always be here. Chiu fell asleep peacefully. I tiptoed out of the room and found Gu Yucheng leaning against the door frame. Is he asleep? He asked softly. Yeah. I nodded. He's very well behaved. Chiu has been very well behaved since he was little and rarely cries, Gu Yucheng said with an indescribable tenderness in his voice. We went downstairs together, and only the warm yellow lights remained in the living room. Gu Yucheng. I called out to him as he was about to go upstairs, I want to talk to you. He stopped, a hint of nervousness flashing in his eyes. About what? About us. I took a deep breath. About this family. His body visibly stiffened. I know that before my amnesia. I might not have been good enough to you. I struggled to find the words, but now I want to start over. Not because of guilt, but because I can see that you are a good man. Gu Yucheng's eyes lit up, but quickly dimmed again. Chu Xia, you don't have to force yourself. I'm not forcing myself. I looked at him seriously. I want to try to understand you, to understand this family. Maybe I'll never remember the past, but I can get to know you again. Really? His voice trembled slightly. Really? I smiled, but you have to be patient. To you, I'm like a stranger right now. I have plenty of patience. Gu Yucheng took a step closer. Chu Xia, thank you for being willing to give us a chance. At that moment, I suddenly felt that maybe amnesia wasn't such a bad thing after all. At least, it gave us a chance to start over. The next day was the weekend, and I decided to get to know the house better. Chiu woke up early and climbed onto my bed to wake me up. Mommy, the weather is so nice today, let's go out and play. I opened my eyes and saw the little guy in his dinosaur pajamas lying next to my pillow, his little face flushed. Okay. Where should we go to play? To the park. To the zoo. To the amusement park. Chiu said excitedly, counting his fingers. I laughed. So many places, can we go to all of them today? If we can't go to all of them, we'll go tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. Chiu said matter-of-factly. At that moment, Gu Yucheng knocked and came in. He had already washed up and was wearing a casual shirt and trousers, looking much younger than usual. Good morning, he said to me, then picked up Chiu. Little guy, did you wake Mommy up so early? Mommy's awake, Mommy's going to the park with us. Chiu wrapped his arms around Gu Yucheng's neck. Oh. Mommy agreed? Gu Yucheng looked at me. Yes, it's a rare weekend, we should take the child out to play. I sat up in bed. Do you have time? It's the weekend, of course I have time. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Let's go to Nanhu Park, there's a children's play area there. An hour later, the three of us appeared in Nanhu Park. Chiu was wearing his little dinosaur suit, carrying his beloved little school bag, running ahead like a happy little bird. Chiu, slow down. I shouted from behind, afraid he would fall. Gu Yucheng walked beside me, holding a water bottle and wet wipes, ready to take care of Chiu at any time. Did you often bring him out to play before? I asked. Yeah, every weekend. Gu Yucheng looked at Chiu in front. He likes outdoor activities very much. What about me? Did I used to come along too? Gu Yucheng was silent for a moment. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You said you didn't like crowded places. I felt another wave of guilt in my heart. It seems that before I lost my memory, I really wasn't a good wife or a good mother. Always shutting myself in, unwilling to participate in family activities. I'll come more often in the future, I said to Gu Yucheng. He glanced at me, a cautious hope in his eyes. Really? Really? We arrived at the children's play area, and Chiu was immediately attracted by the various play facilities. Slides, swings, seesaws, climbing frames. He climbed up and down like a little monkey, having a great time. Gu Yucheng and I sat on a bench nearby watching him. He's really lively, I said with a smile. Like you when you were little, Gu Yucheng said suddenly. Huh? You were like that when you were little too, always energetic and liked to run around. His eyes had a nostalgic light. In high school, you were the most active girl in the class. I was a little surprised. You still remember what I was like in high school? I remember. He nodded. You liked to wear a ponytail back then, and you liked to wear white dresses. You were always chatting with your friends after class, and your laughter was loud. The whole classroom could hear it. Listening to his detailed description, I couldn't help but ask, Did you start to like me in high school? Gu Yuqing's face turned slightly red. Yeah. Why didn't you tell me? You had so many suitors around you. I was just an inconspicuous bookworm. He smiled self-deprecatingly. And you already had someone you liked back then. Who? The sports committee member from the next class. What was his name? Wang Zixuan. I tried hard to recall, and it seemed like there was such a person. The first love of high school, innocent and beautiful, but it had long passed. Then why didn't you ever give up? I asked curiously. Gu Yuqing looked at Qiuqiu playing on the slide, his tone very light. Maybe it's because I really liked you. The simple sentence shocked my heart. To like someone for more than 10 years, how much perseverance and persistence would that take? Mom! Dad! Come and look! Qiuqiu waved excitedly on the climbing frame. We walked over, and Qiuqiu had already climbed to the highest point. I'm Superman! I can fly! He spread his arms and made a flying motion. Be careful! I stood nervously below. Gu Yuqing was also ready to catch him at any time. Qiuqiu carefully climbed down, his face full of sweat but very happy. Mommy, am I awesome? Awesome! Qiuqiu is the most awesome. I wiped his sweat, but you need to be more careful next time. Don't worry, Mommy. Okay. Qiuqiu nodded obediently. After playing for a morning, Qiuqiu was tired, so we found a shady place to rest. Gu Yuqing took out the prepared lunch from the bag, sandwiches, milk, fruit, and Qiuqiu's favorite cookies. You're so well prepared. I was a little touched. I used to prepare these every time we came out. He said it so naturally, as if it was a matter of course. Qiuqiu was eating a sandwich when he suddenly said, Mommy, you never used to have lunch with us before. I was stunned. Why? You said you weren't hungry, and then you just sat there daydreaming. Qiuqiu said innocently, but now Mommy eats with us. I'm so happy. Gu Yuqing glanced at me, his eyes filled with a complex emotion. I felt more and more guilty. Just how indifferent was I before I lost my memory? I couldn't even take care of such a lovely child. Mommy will eat with you from now on. I touched Qiuqiu's little head. Mommy promises. Really? Really? Then will Mommy sleep with Daddy too? Qiuqiu suddenly asked a question that made me blush. I almost choked on my sandwich, and Gu Yuqing was also visibly stunned. Why are you asking that, Qiuqiu? I asked awkwardly. Because all the other kids' mommies and daddies sleep together, but in our house, Daddy sleeps in the study and Mommy sleeps in the master bedroom. Qiuqiu said very seriously, I want Mommy and Daddy to sleep together. A child's words are always the most direct, and also the most hurtful. Gu Yuqing's face looked a little ugly, and I didn't know how to answer. Let's wait until Mommy is fully recovered, okay? I could only stall like this. Okay. Although Qiuqiu was disappointed, he still nodded. On the way home, Qiuqiu fell asleep in the back seat. Gu Yuqing and I didn't speak. The atmosphere was a bit heavy. I'm sorry. I finally said. What? About what Qiuqiu said just now. I know it's not fair to you. Gu Yuqing's grip on the steering wheel tightened. Qiuxia, I said, I won't force you. I know, but I don't want to keep you waiting either. I turned to look at him. Give me some time, okay? I want to try. Try to accept this family, accept you. Gu Yuqing slammed on the brakes, and the car stopped on the side of the road. He turned to look at me, his eyes filled with restrained excitement. Are you serious? Yes. I nodded. Although I don't remember the past, I can feel how good you are to me and Qiuqiu. A man like that is worth me trying to love. Gu Yuqing's eyes turned red, and his voice was a little choked up. Qiuxia. Thank you. You're welcome. I reached out and shook his hand. Let's work hard together, okay? He nodded vigorously. Okay. In that moment, I felt the distance between us suddenly shorten. Maybe, amnesia really is a chance given to us by heaven. A chance to start over, to fall in love again. In the evening, after Ball took a bath, he insisted that I sleep with him. Mommy, will you sleep with me tonight? He held his teddy bear, looking at me expectantly. Of course. I agreed without hesitation. Ball jumped up happily. Great. Mommy's going to sleep with me. His bed is 1.5 meters wide, just right for the two of us to sleep in. I lay down next to him and told him a bedtime story. Once upon a time, there was a little rabbit who lived in the forest. Mommy, does the little rabbit have a mommy and daddy? Ball suddenly asked. Yes, the little rabbit has a loving mommy and daddy. Then are they together every day? Yes, they are together every day, eating together, playing together, and sleeping together. Ball smiled contentedly, just like us. Yes, just like us. After telling the story, Ball quickly fell asleep. He slept soundly, his little face flushed, and he occasionally smacked his lips. I gently stroked his hair, and a deep maternal love welled up in my heart. This little angel, so cute, so innocent, how could I not love him? No matter who his biological father is, from now on, he is the child I love the most. The next morning, I was awakened by Ball's laughter. Opening my eyes, I saw Gu Yuqing sitting on the edge of the bed, playing some game with Ball. Daddy, look, Mommy's awake. Ball said excitedly. Good morning. Gu Yuqing looked at me gently. Did you sleep well last night? Very well. I sat up. How did you get in? Ball said he wanted to wake you up for breakfast, so I followed him in. He was a little embarrassed. Didn't I wake you up? No. I looked at the time, it was already 9 o'clock, I slept too long. It's okay, it's Sunday today, you can sleep a little longer. When we went downstairs for breakfast, Aunt Shang had already prepared a sumptuous breakfast. Porridge, buns, fried eggs, side dishes, and freshly squeezed orange juice. Aunt Shang's cooking is really good. I praised. I'm glad Madam likes it. Aunt Shang smiled happily. You never used to eat breakfast much. Again with the used to. It seems that the me before the amnesia really had a lot of problems. After breakfast, Gu Yuqing said he was going to the study to deal with some work. I watched cartoons with Ball in the living room. After watching for a while, I suddenly thought of something and asked Ball, did Mommy used to watch cartoons with you? Qiuqiu shook her head. Mom didn't like watching cartoons before, saying they were too childish. Then what did Mom do before? Played on her phone, or just spaced out? Qiuqiu answered honestly, sometimes she would cry. My heart tightened. Why did Mom cry? I don't know. Qiuqiu tilted her little head, but every time Mom cried, Dad would be very sad. Hearing this, I suddenly understood something. The me before the amnesia must have been very unhappy. Probably always missing Su Jingxin, so I was unhappy all day, and even cried. And Gu Yuqing could only watch the woman he loved shed tears for another man, but was powerless to do anything. How tormenting that must have been for him. Qiuqiu. I hugged the little one. Mom promises, I won't make you and Dad worry anymore. Really? Really? Mom will be happy every day, we'll watch cartoons with Qiuqiu, and we'll get along well with Dad. Qiuqiu rubbed against me happily in my arms. I love Mom the most. In the afternoon, I decided to tidy up the master bedroom. Did the me before the amnesia leave any traces in the room? Opening the closet, it was filled with all kinds of beautiful clothes, all in my favorite style. Looking at the price tags, none of them were cheap. Gu Yuqing was really generous to me. At the deepest part of the closet, I found a small box. Opening it, I found some photos and letters inside. Most of the photos were group photos of me and Su Jingshan, and some were artistic photos of me alone. The letters were love letters written to me by Su Jingshan, with neat handwriting and mushy content. My darling Chuxia, you are the most beautiful girl I have ever seen. Without you, my world has lost its color. Looking at these things, I suddenly understood. The me before the amnesia hid these things here, which means I really never forgot Su Jingshan. Even though I was married and had children, I was still missing the past relationship. No wonder Gu Yuqing was so miserable. He married the woman he loved, but couldn't get her heart. I took a deep breath and threw all these photos and letters into the trash can. Let the past be the past. From now on, I want to cherish the life I have now. In the evening, Gu Yuqing came back to the room very late after working. I had already taken a shower and was sitting on the bed reading a book in my pajamas. Not asleep yet? He was a little surprised. Waiting for you. I put down the book. I have something to tell you. He sat down on the edge of the bed, looking at me a little nervously. What is it? I pointed to the trash can. I threw some things away. Gu Yuqing followed my gaze and saw the photos and letters in the trash can. His face changed instantly. Chuxia. I know what those are. I interrupted him. The me before amnesia never let go of the past, right? He was silent. I bet you've been in a lot of pain, marrying a woman who has someone else in her heart. I looked at him, but it's different now. I don't remember the past and only want to cherish the present. You really think so? His voice trembled slightly. Yeah. I nodded. Gu Yuqing, give me some time to fall in love with you again, okay? As soon as I said that, Gu Yuqing's eyes immediately turned red. He hugged me tightly, his voice choked with emotion. Chuxia, I've waited for you for so many years, I can wait a little longer. That night, we just slept hugging each other, nothing happened. But I could feel that the wall between our hearts had begun to melt. In the following days, I tried to adapt to this family. I spent the day playing with Chuxio, teaching him how to draw, telling him stories, and playing games. In the evening, I waited for Gu Yuqing to come back, and we had dinner together, watched TV, and chatted. Gradually, I found that Gu Yuqing was really a good man. He is capable at work and successful in his career, but when he returns home, he becomes a good father and a good husband. He takes the initiative to help clean up the dishes, plays games with Chuxio, and cares about my physical condition. Moreover, he never mentions the past and doesn't put pressure on me, always being very patient. What reason is there not to love such a man? This morning, Chuxio suddenly said that he wanted to go to kindergarten to have a look. Mom, I want to go to kindergarten to play with my friends. Okay, tomorrow is Monday, so it's a good time to go. I said. But I'm a little scared. Chuxio bit his finger. What if the other kids ask why Mom hasn't picked me up for so long? I squatted down and looked at him seriously. Then what does Chuxio want to say? I want to say that Mom was sick, but she's better now. Then say that. I kissed his little face. No matter what anyone says, Mom will protect Chuxio. Chuxio nodded, revealing a sweet smile. The next day, I personally took Chuxio to kindergarten. This was my first time visiting his school, a very high-end private kindergarten with a beautiful environment and complete facilities. Chuxio's mom. The teacher was surprised to see me. Are you feeling better? Much better. Thank you, Teacher Zhang, for your concern. I replied politely. That's great. Chuxio has been asking when Mom will come to pick him up lately. After dropping off Chuxio, I met some parents at the kindergarten gate. When they saw me, they all had a strange expression in their eyes. Isn't this Chuxio's mom? Long time no see. I heard you were hospitalized. Are you all right? Chuxio's dad is so nice, he comes to pick up and drop off the child every day. I politely chatted with them for a few words, but I could feel that there was something behind their words. On the way home, I kept wondering what image I presented to other parents before I lost my memory. Was I also aloof and antisocial? When I went to pick up Chiu in the afternoon, Teacher Zhang stopped me. Chiu's mom, I'd like to have a word with you. Okay. We went to the office, and Teacher Zhang poured me a glass of water. Chiu has changed a lot recently, she said. What changes? He used to be very quiet and didn't play much with the other children, but now he's much more lively. Teacher Zhang said with a smile, and today he kept saying that his mom was coming to pick him up. He was especially happy. Hearing this, I felt another wave of guilt. Did I not come to pick him up very often before? Teacher Zhang said somewhat awkwardly, we understand that you're busy with work. But Chiu needs his mother's love. Busy with work? Was I still working before I lost my memory? Teacher Zhang, can I ask, what kind of work did I do before? Teacher Zhang was taken aback. You don't remember? You worked at a design company and often worked late into the night. I see. It seemed that before I lost my memory, I devoted all my energy to work and neglected my family. I'll come to pick up Chiu more often in the future, I assured Teacher Zhang. That would be great, Chiu will be very happy. After picking up Chiu, the little guy was overjoyed. Mom, a lot of kids said you were pretty today. Really? Yeah. Xiaoyu said her mom has never been as pretty as you. Chiu said proudly. Children's words are always the purest, and it warmed my heart to hear them. Does Chiu think Mom is pretty? Of course. Mom is the prettiest in the world. In the evening, Guyuqing came home relatively early. I told him about what happened today. Teacher Zhang said I used to work at a design company? Guyuqing nodded, yes, you're very talented and you worked very hard. Then why did I work? Our family shouldn't be short of money, right? Guyuqing was silent for a moment. You said you didn't want to be a housewife, you wanted to have your own career. I understand. Before I lost my memory, I might have been trying to escape an unhappy marriage through busy work. Do you still want to work now? Guyuqing asked cautiously. I thought about it, not for now. I want to spend more time with Chiu and learn more about this family. A hint of joy flashed in Guyuqing's eyes. Really? Yes, and I think Chiu needs his mother's company more. Then let's put the work thing on hold for now. You can start again whenever you want. Thank you for being so understanding. That night, I took the initiative to suggest that Guyuqing and I put Chiu to bed together. 3 people were squeezed onto Chiu's small bed, with me in the middle and Guyuqing and Chiu on either side. Mommy, tell us a story, Chiu requested. Okay, what should I tell today? Tell the story of the 3 little bears. Once upon a time, there were 3 little bears, Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. I told the story vividly, and Chiu listened attentively, with Guyuqing smiling beside us. At that moment, we really seemed like a happy family of 3. Papa Bear and Mama Bear loved each other very much, and Baby Bear was also very cute. They lived happily every day. Just like us. Chiu said excitedly. Yes, just like us. I glanced at Guyuqing, his eyes full of tenderness. After the story, Chiu quickly fell asleep. Guyuqing and I tiptoed out of his room. Only the warm yellow wall lamps lit the hallway, and the atmosphere was quiet. I was very happy today, I said proactively. Me too, Guyuqing looked at me. It feels like we're really a family. We are a family, I smiled, although I don't remember the past, I want to create new memories with you. Chuxia. His voice was a little choked. What's wrong? Nothing, I just feel very happy. At that moment, I suddenly wanted to hug him. So I actually did it. I opened my arms and gently hugged Guyuqing. His body stiffened for a moment, then slowly relaxed, and he hugged me back. Chuxia, thank you for being willing to give us a chance. Silly, I should be thanking you, I said softly in his arms. Thank you for your years of waiting and understanding. That night, we slept in the same bed for the first time in a true sense. Although it was just sleeping, it was already a big step for us. Lying next to Gu Yuqing, listening to his steady breathing, I suddenly felt very at peace. Maybe we really can have a happy future. 1 month later, I was in the kitchen with Aunt Shang preparing dinner when the doorbell suddenly rang. "I'll get the door," I put down the kitchen knife and walked towards the door. I opened the door and saw a strange man standing outside. He was probably around 30 years old, and fairly handsome, but his eyes were a little haggard, and he hadn't shaved. "Who are you looking for?" I asked politely. The man saw me, and a complex emotion flashed in his eyes. "Chuxia, it's me, Su Jingshan." Su Jingshan? My heart skipped a beat. Is this Chuxio's biological father, my former boyfriend? How did you know our address? I asked, a little flustered. "I've been following your news." Su Jingshan's voice was a little hoarse. "I heard you had a car accident and lost your memory. I was very worried. I'm fine now. Thank you for your concern." I maintained a polite but distant attitude. "If there's nothing else, please leave." "Chuxia, can we talk?" Su Jingshan's eyes were pleading. "Just for a few minutes." I was about to refuse when Chuxio suddenly ran out of the living room. "Mommy, who is it?" When Su Jingshan saw Chuxio, a complex emotion instantly surged in his eyes. It was a mixture of shock, guilt, and an indescribable longing. Chuxio looked at Su Jingshan curiously, then hid behind me. "Mommy, who is this uncle?" This uncle is a friend of Mommy's from before." I didn't know how to explain. Su Jingshan squatted down, wanting to talk to Chuxio. "Little one, what's your name?" "My name is Chuxio." Chuxio replied in a childish voice, but still hid behind me. "Chuxio is so cute. How old are you this year?" 3.5 years old. Su Jingshan's eyes turned red, and his voice trembled slightly. "Chuxio, uncle. Uncle wants to talk to your mommy for a few words, okay?" I quickly picked up Chuxio. "No need, we have nothing to say." "Chuxia, I beg you." Su Jingshan stood up. "I know I have no right, but I really have something important to say." Just then, Gu Yuqing's car drove into the yard. He got out of the car and saw Su Jingshan. His face instantly darkened. "What are you doing here?" Gu Yuqing walked to my side, shielding me and Chuxio in front of him. "I came to see Chuxia and the child." Su Jingshan's voice was a little guilty. "We don't need you to see us." Gu Yuqing said coldly, "Please leave and don't disturb our lives." "Gu Yuqing, I know you hate me, but..." "No buts." Gu Yuqing interrupted him. "You abandoned them 3 years ago, and now you have no right to appear again." Su Jingshan's face was very ugly, but he still insisted, "I want to talk to Chuxia alone." "Impossible." I spoke up. "Su Jingshan, we have nothing to talk about. Please leave and don't bother us anymore." Su Jingshan looked at me, his eyes full of unwillingness and pain. "Chuxia, do you really not remember our past at all?" "I don't remember, and I don't want to remember." My attitude was firm. Su Jingshan was silent for a long time, finally glanced at Chuxio, and turned to leave. After he walked away, Gu Yuqing closed the door, his face still very dark. How did he know our home address? I don't know either. I was a little scared. Luckily you came back. If you see him again in the future, close the door directly and don't talk to him. Gu Yuqing said seriously. Okay. Chuxio asked in my arms, "Mommy, why does that uncle look so sad?" I didn't know how to answer. I could only say, maybe it's because life hasn't been going well. Should we help him then? Chuxio asked kindly. No need, Chuxio. Gu Yuqing patted Chuxio's head. Some people need help that we can't provide. That night, after Chuxio fell asleep, Gu Yuqing and I were chatting in the living room. Are you worried he'll come again? I asked. Possibly. Gu Yuqing frowned. I know Su Jingshan, he won't give up easily. But we're already married, and I have amnesia, what else can he do? Gu Yuqing looked at me, hesitating to speak. What's wrong? Just tell me whatever it is. Chuxia, there's something I need to tell you. Gu Yuqing took a deep breath. We actually haven't registered our marriage. What? I looked at him in shock. We only held the wedding, but we didn't go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Gu Yuqing's voice was very soft. Because you said you weren't sure if you really wanted to marry me. My mind was a mess. No marriage certificate? Then what is our relationship now? Then how was Chuchio's household registration handled? With you. You're a single mother. I was silent for a long time, digesting this information. So, if Su Jingshan really wants to fight for custody of Chuchio, legally, he is indeed Chuchio's biological father. Gu Yuqing's voice was heavy. Although he initially gave up on his own accord, but the law won't deprive him of his rights just because of moral condemnation. I finished his sentence. Gu Yuqing nodded. I suddenly understood why Su Jingshan came today. He probably wants to win me back, and also reclaim Chuchio. What do we do now? I was a little flustered. If you're willing, we can register our marriage. Gu Yuqing looked at me. That way, at least legally, I can be Chuchio's stepfather. Register our marriage. That means we'd become a real couple. Although my feelings for Gu Yuqing are slowly warming up, this decision still makes me a little nervous. I need to think about it. I understand. Gu Yuqing took my hand. No matter what decision you make, I will support you. The next day, Su Jingshan came again. This time he brought a lot of toys and snacks. Chuxia, these are for Chuchio. He put the things at the door. I know you don't want to see me, but Chuchio is my child, I want to compensate him. No need. I stood inside the door, not opening it. Chuchio lacks nothing. I know Gu Yuqing is very good to you, but I am Chuchio's biological father. Su Jingshan's voice was a little agitated. Chuxia, can we talk properly? I have a lot to say to you. I said, we have nothing to talk about. What about Chuchio? You can't deprive a child of the right to know their biological father. That sentence stunned me. Indeed, from Chuchio's perspective, he has the right to know about his background. But is it too early to talk about this now? Chuchio is still young, we'll talk about it when he's older, I finally replied. Chuxia, please, Su Jingshan's voice was tearful, I know I was wrong before, but I really regret it now. For the past 3 years, I've been thinking about you and blaming myself every day. Does regret help? I couldn't help but raise my voice. You were the one who said you didn't want this child, you were the one who said we would break up if I insisted on having him. Now that you regret it, you want him back? There's no such thing in the world. Su Jingshan was silent. Su Jingshan, whether you're genuinely regretful or have ulterior motives, please don't bother us anymore. My attitude was firm, Chuchio and I already have a new life and don't need you to appear. After speaking, I closed the door directly. But I knew that this matter wouldn't end just like that. Sure enough, Su Jingshan came every day for the next few days. Sometimes he brought toys, sometimes snacks, and sometimes he just stood outside the door waiting. I never opened the door, but I could feel his presence. Chuchio also noticed, Mommy, why does that uncle always come to our house? Because the uncle can't figure some things out. I didn't know how to explain. Then can we help him figure it out? Chuchio suggested kindly. No one can help with this kind of thing, he can only figure it out himself. A week later, Gu Yuqing came back from work with a very unpleasant expression. What's wrong? I asked. Su Jingshan went to my company to find me. What did he say? He said he wanted to get back together with you and wanted custody of Chuchio. Gu Yuqing's voice was cold. He also said that if you were willing to start over with him, he could give Chuchio the best living conditions. I was trembling with anger. What right does he have? What's even more outrageous is that he investigated our marital status. Gu Yucheng's face was even more gloomy. He knows we haven't registered our marriage. My heart sank. Did he threaten you? Not exactly a threat, but he implied that if we don't break up, he will fight for custody of Qiuqiu through legal means. Hearing this, I was completely furious. Su Jingshan is forcing us to submit. Gu Yucheng, let's get married. I said suddenly. What? He was stunned. I said, let's get married. I looked at him seriously. I can't let Su Jingshan succeed, and I can't let Qiuqiu be taken away by him. Chuxia, are you sure? There was surprise and worry in Gu Yucheng's eyes. I don't want you to make this decision because of Su Jingshan's threat. No. I shook my head. Although Su Jingshan's appearance did catalyze my decision, my feelings for you are real. Over the past month, I've seen your good qualities and felt your love. I want to build a real family with you and give Qiuqiu a complete home. Gu Yucheng excitedly hugged me. Chuxia, thank you for being willing to marry me. I should be thanking you for being willing to marry me, a woman with a child. Don't say that, Qiuqiu is my child. Gu Yucheng whispered in my ear, from now on, we are truly a family. The next day, we went to the Civil Affairs Bureau. My mood was complicated while going through the formalities. Although we had been living as husband and wife for 3 years, this was the first time we actually got a marriage certificate. Gu Yucheng's palms were sweating nervously when we took the photos. Relax a little. I held his hand. We're already an old married couple. But this is the first time we're taking photos for our marriage certificate. He said with a silly smile. The final photo turned out great. We were both smiling brightly. The moment we received the red booklet, Gu Yucheng's eyes welled up with excitement. Chuxia, we're really married. Yes, we're really married. On the way home, we decided to give Qiuqiu a surprise. Qiuqiu, Mommy and Daddy have good news to tell you. After dinner, we called Qiuqiu to the living room and sat down solemnly. Qiuqiu blinked his big eyes and looked at us curiously. What good news? Gu Yucheng and I exchanged a glance, and then took out the marriage certificate. Mommy and Daddy got their marriage certificate today. Now we're truly a family. I said gently. Qiuqiu looked at the small red booklet, and although he didn't quite understand what it meant, he could feel that it was a good thing. What's this? He asked curiously. This is called a marriage certificate. With it, Daddy officially becomes your daddy, and Mommy officially becomes Daddy's wife. Gu Yucheng explained patiently. Does that mean we'll be together forever from now on? Qiuqiu asked excitedly. Yes, forever together. I picked up Qiuqiu. Is Qiuqiu happy? Happy! Qiuqiu nodded vigorously, then hugged my and Gu Yucheng's necks. I love Mommy and Daddy the most. At that moment, I felt like we had truly become a complete family. But the good times didn't last long. Su Jingshan appeared again the next day. This time his attitude was even more forceful. Chuxia, I heard you and Gu Yucheng got your marriage certificate. He stood outside the door, his voice a little cold. Yes, so please don't bother us anymore. I said through the door. You think I can't do anything to you just because of this? Su Jingshan sneered. Qiuqiu is my child, that's an undeniable fact. Legally, Gu Yucheng is now Qiuqiu's stepfather and has an obligation to support him. I retorted. But I am his biological father. Su Jingshan's voice was even colder. Chuxia, I don't want to go to court with you, but if you force me, I have no choice. Hearing the words go to court, my heart tightened. What exactly do you want? I want my child back, and I want to start over with you. Su Jingshan's voice was a little crazy. Chuxia, have you forgotten how much we loved each other before? I have amnesia, I don't remember anything. And even if I did, it's impossible for us to start over. Why? Just because of Gu Yucheng? Su Jingshan's voice was full of jealousy. You clearly don't love him. Why are you with him? I love him now. I said firmly, and he is a good man, a good husband, a good father. 1,000,000 times better than you. Su Jingshan was silent for a long time, then said, Chu Xia, I'm giving you one last chance. If you're not willing to start over with me, I will use legal means to fight for Qiuqiu's custody. Go ahead and sue. I didn't show any weakness. Qiuqiu was born to me, raised by me. The court will not give him to someone who abandoned him. We'll see. Su Jingshan left those words and left. That night, after Gu Yuqing came back, I told him about Su Jingshan's threat. He really wants to sue us? Gu Yuqing frowned. It sounds like it. I was a little worried. What if the court really rules that Qiuqiu goes with him? It won't happen. Gu Yuqing comforted me. Qiuqiu has been with you since birth, and Su Jingshan did abandon you in the past. The court will consider the child's best interests. But he is the biological father. Biological father doesn't mean he's the best father. Gu Yuqing held my hand. Chu Xia, trust me, I won't let anyone take Qiuqiu away from us. A few days later, we really received a summons from the court. Su Jingshan officially sued, demanding custody of Qiuqiu. Looking at the summons in my hand was trembling. Mommy, what's wrong? Qiuqiu noticed my abnormality. It's nothing, baby, Mommy is just a little tired. I forced a smile. But Qiuqiu is very sensitive, he can feel that the atmosphere at home is not right. Did that uncle come again? He asked in a low voice. I didn't know how to answer. Gu Yuqing squatted down and looked at Qiuqiu seriously. Qiuqiu, if someone wants to take you away from Mommy and Daddy, would you be willing? Qiuqiu shook his head vigorously. No. I want to be with Mommy and Daddy. Then if a judge uncle asks you who you want to live with, what would you say? I want to live with Mommy and Daddy. Qiuqiu said loudly, I don't want to leave you. Gu Yuqing hugged Qiuqiu. Okay, Mommy and Daddy don't want Qiuqiu to leave either. We will protect Qiuqiu. For this lawsuit, Gu Yuqing specifically hired the best lawyer. After the lawyer carefully understood the situation, he told us that the chances of winning were high. Su Jingshan did abandon the child back then, and he hasn't fulfilled any fatherly responsibilities in the past 3 years. The lawyer analyzed, in contrast, although Mr. Gu is not the biological father, he has been raising the child, and the court will prioritize the child's best interests. What if? I was still worried. If we lose, we can appeal. The lawyer comforted, and the possibility of losing is very small. I had insomnia the night before the trial. Tossing and turning in bed, I was always worried about tomorrow's outcome. Can't sleep? Gu Yuqing asked softly. Yeah, I'm scared. I honestly admitted. Afraid of what? Afraid of losing Qiuqiu, afraid of our family being destroyed. I turned to look at him. Gu Yuqing, what if we really lose the case? We won't lose. Gu Yuqing hugged me. Even if we take a step back and say we really lose, we won't give up. Qiuqiu is our child, no one can take him away. But if Su Jingshan really wants to take Qiuqiu away, then we'll move to a place he can't find. Gu Yuqing's tone was firm. In short, I won't let anyone break up our family. Hearing him say that, my heart felt warm. This man really treats Qiuqiu like his own son. The next day, the trial began. In court, Su Jingshan was well dressed in a suit, looking very presentable. His lawyer argued that Su Jingshan, as the child's biological father, has the right and obligation to raise him. Moreover, Su Jingshan is now in good financial condition and can provide the child with a better education and living environment. Our lawyer countered that Su Jingshan had abandoned the child back then and had not fulfilled any fatherly responsibilities in the past 3 years. In contrast, although Gu Yuqing is not the biological father, he has been raising the child and has established a deep bond. Most importantly, the lawyer requested that Qiuqiu testify in court. When the judge asked Qiuqiu who he wanted to live with, Qiuqiu said without hesitation, I want to be with Mommy and Daddy. I don't know that, uncle. Su Jingshan's face looked very ugly when he heard this. He tried to talk to Qiuqiu, but Qiuqiu hid in my arms in fear, unwilling to pay attention to him. This scene gave the judge and jury a direct impression. In the end, the court ruled that Qiuqiu would be raised jointly by me and Gu Yuqing, and Su Jingshan lost the case. When I walked out of the courthouse, I was so excited that tears streamed down my face. We won! We won! I hugged Qiuqiu, crying and laughing. Gu Yuqing was also very excited, hugging us tightly. Yes, we won. From now on, no one can break up our family. Su Jingshan stood at the entrance of the courthouse, looking at us with a livid face. But the law had made a ruling, and he couldn't do anything about it. On the way home, Qiuqiu sang happily. He didn't quite understand what had just happened, he only knew that no one was going to take him away from Mommy and Daddy. Mommy, let's go home and have a feast. Qiuqiu suggested excitedly. Okay, let's celebrate today. I wiped away my tears and said happily. That night, we had a small celebration at home. Aunt Sheng prepared a lavish dinner, and we also bought a cake. Congratulations on becoming a real family. Gu Yuqing raised his juice glass. Cheers! Qiuqiu and I also raised our glasses. At that moment, I felt that our family was finally complete and that no one would ever be able to break it again. The days after winning the lawsuit were exceptionally peaceful and beautiful. Su Jingshan completely disappeared and never showed up again. The life of our family of 3 returned to normal, even more harmonious than before. Perhaps because we had experienced this crisis, we all cherished each other more. Qiuqiu also clearly felt the change in the atmosphere at home and became more cheerful and lively. This day was a weekend, and Gu Yuqing suggested taking us to the beach for a vacation. Really? To the beach? Qiuqiu jumped up excitedly. Yes, we're going to Sanya and staying for a few days. Gu Yuqing said with a smile. Does Qiuqiu want to play in the sand? Yes. I want to build a very, very big castle. Looking at Qiuqiu's happy appearance, a warm current surged in my heart. This kind of family life is truly blissful. When are we leaving? I asked. Tomorrow, I've already booked the tickets and the hotel. Gu Yuqing smiled mysteriously. This trip has a special meaning. What special meaning? You'll find out when the time comes. The next day, we took an early flight to Sanya. The hotel was a sea view room, and you could see the azure sea by opening the window. It was Qiuqiu's first time seeing the sea, and he was extremely excited. Mom! The sea is so big and beautiful. He leaned on the windowsill, his little face pressed against the glass. Yes, it's very beautiful. I was also amazed by the beautiful scenery before me. Although I might have been to the beach before I lost my memory, this was indeed my first time as I am now. In the afternoon, we played on the beach. Qiuqiu ran barefoot on the beach, picking up shells and conchas from time to time. Mom, this shell is so pretty. He showed me a pink scallop shell. It's really pretty. Shall we take it back as a souvenir? Okay. Qiuqiu nodded, then continued to search for treasures. Gu Yuqing was helping Qiuqiu build a sandcastle, and the two of them were working together happily. Looking at the warm scene of the father and son, I couldn't help but take out my phone to take pictures. Come on, let's take a picture together. Gu Yuqing called me over. The 3 of us sat beside the sandcastle, the sea breeze blowing through my hair, and Qiuqiu giggled. With a click, the beautiful moment was frozen in time. In the evening, we had dinner at a seaside restaurant. The sun was setting, and the entire sea was dyed golden. It's so beautiful, I couldn't help but exclaim. Yes, it's beautiful. Gu Yuqing said, looking at me with a special light in his eyes. After dinner, Gu Yuqing said he wanted to take a walk by the sea. Qiuqiu, can you and Mommy wait here for a moment? Daddy's going to get something. Okay. Qiuqiu nodded obediently. After Gu Yuqing left, Qiuqiu and I sat on a bench by the sea, watching the waves. The waves crashed against the beach, making pleasant sounds. Mommy, will we always be this happy? Qiuqiu asked suddenly. Of course, we will always be very happy. I hugged him. Why do you ask? Because I'm afraid this is a dream, and it will be gone when I wake up, Qiuqiu said seriously. I felt a wave of emotion. This little guy's thoughts were so profound. Silly baby, this is not a dream. I kissed his forehead. Mommy promises, we will always, always be together. At that moment, Gu Yuqing returned. He had something in his hand, and his face had a look of nervousness. Chuxia, Chuchio, come here for a moment. We walked over and discovered that the beach was filled with candles, arranged in the shape of a heart. In the sea breeze, the candlelight flickered, very romantic. This is... I looked at the scene in surprise. Gu Yuqing suddenly knelt on one knee and took out a small box from his pocket. Chuxia, although we are already married, I haven't officially proposed to you. His voice was a little trembling. I want to make up for this regret during this trip. He opened the box, revealing a sparkling diamond ring. Lin Chuxia, will you marry me? Will you grow old with me and never be separated? Tears instantly welled up in my eyes. This man is always so thoughtful, so romantic. I do. I said, choking with emotion. Gu Yuqing, I will marry you. I will be with you forever. Gu Yuqing excitedly put the ring on my finger, then stood up and hugged me tightly. Chuxia, I love you. I love you too, I whispered in his arms. Chuchio clapped his hands beside us. Mommy and Daddy are married. Mommy and Daddy are married. Passing tourists also stopped to applaud and bless us. At that moment, I felt like the happiest woman in the world. Back at the hotel that night, Chuchio quickly fell asleep. Gu Yuqing and I stood on the balcony, looking at the sea. The moonlight shone on the sea, glittering and sparkling. Did you like today's proposal? Gu Yuqing asked, holding me in his arms. I loved it, I was so touched. I leaned against him. When did you prepare this? I've actually wanted to do this for a while, but I just couldn't find the right opportunity. He gently stroked my hair. Chuxia, do you know? For the past 3 years, I've imagined this scene every night. What scene? The scene where you sincerely say I do to me. His voice was a little choked. Today, it finally came true. I turned to face him, looking intently into his eyes. Gu Yuqing, thank you for your persistence and waiting all these years. Without you, I don't know what would have become of me. Silly, I should be thanking you for giving me a chance. He lowered his head and kissed my forehead. Chuxia, from now on, we are truly husband and wife. We were already husband and wife. I smiled, it's just that now it's more in name and in fact. That night, we became husband and wife in the truest sense for the first time. Gentle sea breeze, soft moonlight, and deep love for each other. Everything was so beautiful, just like a fairy tale. When I woke up the next morning, I saw a red rose on the pillow. Gu Yuqing was already up, watching the sunrise with on the balcony. Mommy's awake! Saw me and ran over excitedly. Come see the sunrise, it's so beautiful. I walked onto the balcony and saw a red sun slowly rising above the sea. Golden light sprinkled on the sea, sparkling, breathtakingly beautiful. So beautiful, I couldn't help but exclaim. Yes, a new day has begun. Gu Yuqing put his arm around my waist. Our new life has also begun. I leaned in his arms, watching the sunrise in the distance, my heart filled with anticipation for the future. This trip was not just a vacation, but a new beginning for our family. From now on, we will be a truly loving couple, facing the ups and downs of life together, accompanying as he grows up, and creating more wonderful memories together. After returning home, our life became even sweeter and more harmonious. Also seemed to sense the change in his parents' relationship and became more cheerful and happy. This day was S' birthday, and we decided to throw him a special birthday party. Who do you want to invite to your birthday party? I asked the little guy who was drawing. I want to invite the kids from kindergarten, and Aunt Zheng, and Aunt Sue. Excitedly counted on his fingers. Su Wanwan is my only friend I still keep in touch with, and she often comes to see us these days. Okay, then Mommy will call them. Mommy, I also want a big cake with Ultraman on it. Requested. No problem, Daddy will order you the most beautiful Ultraman cake. Gu Yuqing rubbed S little head. The birthday party was scheduled for Saturday afternoon, and we decorated the house with colorful decorations. Balloons, streamers, ribbons, and S favorite Ultraman-themed decorations. Wow! So beautiful! Jumped up excitedly when he saw the decorated living room. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the children arrived one after another. A total of 8 children came, all of whom were S best friends in kindergarten. The house suddenly became lively, filled with the laughter of children. Happy birthday! All the children stood in a circle and sang a birthday song for. Qiuqiu stood in the middle, his little face flushed, his eyes as bright as stars. When the Ultraman-themed cake was brought out, all the children gasped in amazement. Qiuqiu, make a wish, I said gently. Qiuqiu closed his eyes, clasped his little hands together, and made a wish earnestly. I wish Mom and Dad will always love me, and our family will always be happy. Hearing this wish, both Gu Yuqing and I were so touched that our eyes turned red. Whoosh! Qiuqiu blew out the candles with all his might, and the children applauded and cheered. Qiuqiu's wish will definitely come true. I hugged him and kissed him lightly on the forehead. While cutting the cake, Su Wanwan quietly walked over to me. Qiuxia, seeing you like this now makes me really happy, she said with a smile. This is the life you should have. Thank you, Wanwan, I took her hand. Thank you for introducing me to Gu Yuqing back then. Looks like I did one thing right, Su Wanwan said jokingly. Gu Yuqing really loves you both. I looked at Gu Yuqing, who was playing games with the children, and a warm feeling welled up in my heart. Yes, he really loves us. Not only does he dote on Qiuqiu as if he were his own son, but he is also considerate to me in every way. How could I not love such a man? Game time arrived, and the children started playing the eagle catches the chickens. Gu Yuqing played the eagle, I played the mother hen, and the children were the chicks. Protect the chicks. Mommy hen will protect you. I spread my arms, standing in front of the children. The eagle is coming. Gu Yuqing deliberately made a fierce expression, and the children giggled in fright. Qiuqiu hid behind me, clutching my clothes tightly. Mommy, protect me. Mommy will protect Qiuqiu. I turned back and gave him a reassuring smile. In the end, the brave mother hen defeated the eagle, and all the chicks were safe. Mommy is so amazing. Qiuqiu looked at me admiringly. Because Mommy wants to protect her babies, I squatted down and hugged him. At 4 in the afternoon, parents came one after another to pick up their children. Thank you for inviting Qiuqiu, we had a great time today. Qiuqiu's mom, your house is decorated so beautifully. We're going to do the same for our Xiaobao's birthday next time. After sending all the children away, the house became much quieter. Qiuqiu hugged the gifts from his friends, overjoyed. Mommy, today is the happiest day of my life. He said excitedly. Mommy is happy when Qiuqiu is happy, I patted his little head. But now it's time for a bath and bed. I'm not sleepy, I still want to play, Qiuqiu said coquettishly. Little kids need to sleep early and wake up early to grow tall, Gu Yuqing walked over and said, and you have to go to kindergarten tomorrow. Okay then, Qiuqiu was reluctant, but he obediently followed me to take a bath. While taking a bath, Qiuqiu kept talking about the events of the day. Mommy, Xiaoyu said my cake was the prettiest she's ever seen. Mommy, Xiaoming said he wants a mommy like me. Mom, I'm really happy today. Listening to Ball's happy words, my heart is full of happiness. Being able to give my child such a happy childhood is my greatest wish. After putting Ball to sleep, Gu Yuqing and I cleaned up the living room together. You worked hard today, Gu Yuqing said while cleaning. Not at all, I'm happy to see Ball so happy. I took down the balloons one by one. Besides, we're a family, this is what we should do. Xia, Gu Yuqing suddenly called me. Yes? You know what? Seeing you and Ball playing games today, I suddenly thought of something. Thought of what? I thought we could have another child. His face turned slightly red. Give Ball a younger brother or sister. I was stunned, the balloon in my hand almost fell to the ground. Have another child? I really hadn't considered this idea. Are you serious? I asked cautiously. Of course, I'm serious. Gu Yuchen walked up to me. We are very happy now. If we have another child, our family will be more complete. But we've only just stabilized. No rush, we can consider it slowly. Gu Yuchen took my hand. Just want to hear your thoughts. I was silent for a while. It would be a lie to say I wasn't tempted. Having a child with the person you love is many women's dream. And Ball really needs a companion. Let me think about it, I finally replied. Okay, think about it slowly, Gu Yucheng said gently. No matter what your decision is, I will support you. That night, I thought for a long time. Before losing my memory, I experienced too much pain and entanglement. But now, I have a complete family and deep love. Maybe it's time to add a new member to this family. The next morning, I made a decision. Gu Yucheng, I said at breakfast. Yes? About what you said yesterday. I looked at Ball, who was focused on eating his bun. I think we can consider it. Gu Yucheng's eyes lit up instantly. Really? Yes, but we have to wait until Ball is a little older, I said, at least until he goes to elementary school. Okay. Gu Yucheng was so excited that he almost knocked over the milk. Xuxia, thank you for being willing to give so much for our family. Silly, this is our home, of course, I'm willing. Ball raised his head and looked at us curiously. What are Mom and Dad talking about? Mom and Dad are discussing whether to give Ball a little brother or sister, I said with a smile. Really? Ball jumped up excitedly. I'm going to be a big brother? If Ball wants one, Gu Yucheng said with a smile. I want one. I want to be a big brother. Ball nodded vigorously. I will protect my little brother and sister. Looking at Qiuqiu's excited appearance, Gu Yucheng and I both laughed. This family is becoming more and more complete, and more happy.